remember which way my left and right, the other way around. Hello. Everyone needs to wave, otherwise it's not going to be enough like activity on this. This is really weird because I've got two of everyone, because I've got us on screen and then I've got everyone underneath as well, so I can like add people in, kick them off, that kind of thing. Not that I would do that, but yeah, waving then, it was like there were 7 of us, had to count quick then. And then there were 14 waving back. So that was a bit odd. But anyway, hello, everyone else that's not on here. Welcome to the Green Umbrella Live Lunch, the last Green Umbrella Live Lunch of the year. And, we know a lot of people are going to be, finished for Christmas anyway. Notification might have just popped up and you might tune in just to see, what are we going on about this time. So we thought we'd bring some guests in, some familiar faces, just to have a bit of a chat and a little bit of a reflection over the year as well. And just hang out for the last live lunch of 2021. Almost said 2022 then. I've been writing 2022 a lot this week, sort of getting ready for the new year. So I'm like, what year are we in? Does anyone else have that problem? Mm-hmm. Like before you actually get there, you're like, oh, hold on, where am I? That's very strange. Time. Very strange. So in terms of our guests, we have the fantastic Paul Green from BuzzCom, the business community. So you'll recognise Paul. He's been on Live Lunch a couple of times in the past, and he is the resident stalker.
Yeah, you've
given him that official title.
You've let the stalker inside the house again.
Absolutely. We've got Chris Lambert from Datasense. So do you remember we did a show it's a couple of months ago now, Chris, isn't it, I think, where you came on and talked about all things cyber?
No, that was last year.
Wasn't last year.
Awkward.
That show, which was last year.
Time it wasn't.
No, you've been on this year. I am the stalker, Chris.
Yeah, you were on this year.
No, I'm sure it was last year.
It was in 2021. Don't wind me up.
I'm not winding you up.
You've been on twice, haven't you, Chris?
No, I think this is the second time.
This is the second time, yeah, because every week he sends a little begging message saying, can I come on again? And we voted and we were like, no one will tune in this time, so you can come on.
and to be fair, you keep letting Paul in, who's, just now Paul's here, there's going to be no one in the comment section.
Yeah, that's true.
It's all right. We've got Ellie from the team. She's there in the comments, and someone commenting as Green Umbrella. So yeah, not sure. That might be Kim. Not sure. So yeah, we've got a couple of people there. Yeah, it's Kim. She's just commented. Awesome. And then we've got someone who is not unfamiliar to the Green Umbrella audience, but this is your first time on Live Lunch, isn't it, Charles?
Oh man, no, it's my second time.
I was going to say, you've definitely been on.
Yeah, I can definitely, as a stalker, I can definitely say it's nice to know you were so memorable, Charles.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's great.
Maybe if you wear a hoodie next time, whether it's Easter or whatever month it is, then she might remember you.
I didn't know you so well then, Charles, to be honest. That was like back in the early days, wasn't it? Like I remember now. First, it was like, I don't know, in our first.
He's been on 7 times this year.
Oh, shut up.
I've literally been on that every week. Every week. And,
Okay, so, right. So we said we're going to do a bit of reflection, okay? I'm just going to reflect on the fact that this week I haven't been very well. Everything I've touched, I've cocked up. So just give me a little bit, just you can let the odd 1 or 2 things go, all right? Leave me alone.
1 or 2? We're 5 minutes in. We're about 10.
Right, someone's going to have to take over. I'm just
Merry Christmas.
Tough crowd, Christina. Tough crowd.
So, okay. So, Charles, let's come to you first. So, like I said, we wanted to do a bit of reflection, and it's one thing us reflecting on stuff, but you have a desk here in the office. Like, so Charles' business is completely separate to ours, but yeah, you've spent quite a bit of time observing us as a team.
I know, right?
Is it a bit like being at the zoo, Charles?
I wouldn't put it that way, Paul, because I've still got a desk in her office, and I would like it to remain that way. But yeah, no, I've spent it's over a year now, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. And it obviously has been a very eventful year. And looking back at it, it's been a wicked year, to be fair, because it's helped me like move forward with myself and my business, if that makes yeah. And like him just said, it was the unwanted mentor.
Hasn't helped with his dress sense though.
Mate, it's made it better. It's made it better.
That's what he looks like normally. This is not a Christmas thing.
Yeah.
That's his daily wear.
Every Monday morning, I'm in there like this. They love it.
So what's the I don't know, your biggest observation of us, or like the thing that you've learned or realized whilst you've been sort of within this culture of just madness?
The biggest thing I've observed is obviously your teamwork and how close knit as a team you are. Obviously, because it has gone. I've obviously seen the growth of Green Umbrella over the year, and introducing the new team members, and yeah, just seeing how well connected they are this early on. Like, and that's been nice to see. Like how you've got obviously the girls that are in the comments, and then a couple of others as well. And yeah, it's been nice to observe that and see everyone grow in themselves. And then, like, personally, it's helped me, I want to implement it in my business and set my own goals to build that kind of team and move forward in that way.
Because you've been interviewing this week, haven't you?
Yeah, yesterday I interviewed, and it was, it's a big step, and it's a daunting step, but I can't wait. I'm buzzing for 2022.
What role are you interviewing for, Charles?
An operations assistant. So obviously the pandemic completely shut my diary down, but then obviously working in the office and being with your team, it's helped me to almost close my 22 diary, because it's just, I've learned so much and I've implemented it, and yeah, now my diary's crazy.
And Charles,
I need help.
Where can Amanda send her CV to?
We'll talk after.
Oh, awesome. Chris, we've sort of been through quite a change this year. Like as Charles said, the team's grown, but we've also sort of looked at systems and processes and that kind of stuff. And you've helped us with that in terms of the techie computery stuff that I find really boring and I'm really impatient with. Like, the people expect me to be really techie, and I'm really very much the kind of person that throws the computer out the window because it won't turn on.
It's true. That's why there's a narrow boarded up window next to you.
That's why I've positioned things so carefully, so people can't see just what's going on there.
Why I moved desk. Sorry.
Got tired of ducking, didn't you, Charles?
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've been in the office with us a few times, you've sort of seen that kind of stuff, but you've obviously seen a lot of businesses make these changes and sort of settle into this sort of hybrid way of working, that kind of stuff. So, like, what are your reflections of the year? Maybe not just of us as a team, what you've observed here, but like just across your whole client base. Is there anything that's sort of really standing out for you?
Probably just how much businesses are starting to recover now. I know the pandemic's it's going to sound really bad, and I don't really mean it to sound gloating, but the pandemic's been great for our business because everyone's needed IT that much more than what they had before. And the last 6 months have been absolutely relentless and non-stop for us. But I'm seeing that with a lot of businesses now, that depending on what Boris decides in any given day of the week, businesses are really starting to pick it up, and everyone is getting much, much busier. So probably the big reflection to take away is it's great to see so many people like Charles. He was last year basically probably sat around in his pajamas as he is now, playing Xbox, doing nothing, and now he's dreaming of the days when he can sit around in his pajamas playing Xbox. And
PlayStation, mate. PlayStation. Sorry.
Sorry,
There are other providers.
It's just great to see so many businesses now getting back, recovering, and starting to grow. And again, I'm seeing the same with Green Umbrella, obviously, like Sir Charles, and so many more clients. They are now got the grasp of what's going on. They've got plans, and they're putting those plans into action and growing. But yeah, things are changing. Obviously, I did the cybersecurity session with you girls at Green Umbrella, which just highlights how everyone's now got to think differently with business and how they're interacting with technology. And we're doing more and more of those as well, which has been great for us. It's just educate people, keep them safe, and just help them grow again. So yeah, probably the biggest thing I'm happy to take away is that businesses getting back on track in a lot of industries.
Mm-hmm. So just for the benefit of anyone that takes the time to watch this, so what Chris did was he came in, obviously, like, people are sharing all sorts of information with us, maybe not their bank details and their dates of birth, but passwords for their email marketing software and LinkedIn accounts and all this sort of stuff, and we need to make sure we're keeping our systems secure. So Chris came in and he did a training session with the team where we basically, I'd say, we went through all the basics of all the potential risks from a cybersecurity perspective, and also from a GDPR perspective as well. But what's really interesting is it's quite a while since I've sat in on anything like that, probably pre-lockdown, pre-COVID, and a lot has changed. A lot has, so much more has stepped up again. Like the way people are being targeted is just so clever now. So much. I think it's so much easier for people to fall foul of it now than it ever was before. And so
it's quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
How easy it is.
So we've just had the training, and I nearly got caught out something yesterday.
The other thing I'm going to take away is that Christina says she hasn't sat through a presentation like that since before the pandemic, but she sat through one of my presentations, which is part of the bigger one, at one of Paul's BuzzCon breakfast.
Yeah, but that's only 15 minutes. That's not like a in-depth focus. That's a taster. That taster session is what made me book the training for the team. So shush. Spot the moment I remembered we were live there. Spot the moment.
That's quite interesting because Chris did do a couple of those 10-minute presentations, and I remember one that he did at the face-to-face meeting in Northampton. It's only meant to be like a 10-minute slot, and because so many people were surprised at the things that he was covering, I think it went on for at least 20-25 minutes because of all the questions they were asking. There's a lot.
I think I was there at that one, and it was a bit like, oh my.
Yeah. There's a lot of ignorance out there. It's so easy, just to click on one link or open one attachment, and that's it. Damage is done.
Yeah, I had a text message yesterday with something to do with the post office with a link in it, and I was like, I'm expecting parcels, and it was, I was like, my finger was there ready to hit it, and I just at the last second I was like, hold on a minute, actually no, there isn't anything coming Royal Mail that I'm aware of. I'll just leave it and see what happens, kind of thing. And I just thought, I've just had that training, and even then I've still almost because you don't think about it obviously I did at the last second, but you don't think about it in the moment.
It could have been a surprise gift from Kevin to you.
Surprise gift from my husband. Has anyone told him it's Christmas Day on Saturday?
Let me just jump into this comment section. He is apparently
watching. We don't want to spoil the surprise for him.
Honestly, well, I'll tell you a story later when we're not live. How about that?
Do it live.
No. He's another one of those people that gets very upset that he's not allowed on live lunch. He is allowed on live lunch. He's been on here before. Just he only comes on the weeks that I'm not here.
Probably why.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Paul.
Christina.
Obviously, I mean, there's so many different ways I can ask you this question, because I could ask you about the businesses you come into contact with and reflections from that. I could talk to you about your business, because obviously you've had to sort of make quite a lot of changes and decisions in terms of your business, and like how you run your networking events, that kind of stuff. But as our resident stalker, any reflections on live lunch? Any feedback, maybe? I'm saying that knowing you've always got feedback for me, but the team don't always hear it. So any feedback for these guys?
Well, you win the prize for being the most sweary.
That's surprising, because if you go into the office, it's normally Mark.
He's dreadful. He's dreadful.
So, well, but there's Jane competing as well, to be fair.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, actually, yeah.
Just in a posher accent.
No, like I say, I've just looked forward to these sessions, because even though I'm just in the chat annoying you guys with sort of hashtags and crap like that, it's just something I do look forward to. I think during these times, I think everybody's got something they need, like a consistency about it. It's just something I do look forward to. I think during these times, I think
who's got an echo?
It's strange.
It looked like he'd recorded himself then.
Paul's not actually live, is he?
Yeah, I'm just a stunt double. So yes, I think just keep up doing the good work. So I'll always get something from the session, whether it's learning from your guests or learning from you guys, or just having a bit of a laugh along the way. It's just that thing, joking aside, I do look forward to, and hence me giving myself the hashtag stalker. And you've had some good guests on as well, and I think that's been interesting and engaging, sort of like listen to some diverse people that I wouldn't normally come across. So a couple come to mind. Joanne Lockwood, who talked about inclusion and belonging. That was just fascinating conversation in terms of her journey. And then Stephen O'Donnell, the Scottish guy who got about five cameras connected to his thing and had little mini hymns walking behind him and all sorts of things. So yeah, just been some really engaging people on it. So keep up the good work.
Awesome. Now, one of the things that you often say to me is that basically I should shut up and let these guys get on with it more.
Yeah, well, I think it's interesting when you're not here, because I think they come out of their shells a little bit more, particularly Mark. Mark's more chatty when you're not here, so I don't know whether he's scared of you or whatever it is. But
just necessity to feel that dead air.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
If we all went silent now, you would fill the gap, Mark.
No, Jane would. That could have been the worst live lunch the other week when it was just me and Jane for a few minutes.
No, I think just it's interesting, isn't it? Because I've said to you before that it might be interesting for different people to lead it each time, right? Even if you're here, you don't have to lead it just because you're the governor. Just hand it over to someone else to lead it. So I don't know, just might be a bit more diverse. Don't know. What are the
we vote him off? He's got some really bad ideas. I think we should just get rid of him now.
Thanks, Jane. I used to love you.
Sorry.
You'll be getting a new hashtag, and it won't be so polite.
It's true, though. I think when I'm here, it's part of the problem is that I'm not very good at being quiet on these, and like as soon as that gap happens, I'm like diving in there. There's who is it? One of like the big sales gurus, and it's their thing. Like part of that sales conversation, it's like when you make the offer, you need to just be quiet, and it's whoever breaks first wins. Yeah, like that's why we brought Dean in, because I'm really bad at that bit.
I was bad. Yeah, I happened to have that situation a couple of weeks ago. I won. I was really happy about it, but it was I had to look away from the camera. Yeah, you're like, just go dead silent and don't say anything. So I did, and I had to put my hand over my mouth. I had to look away from the screen just because, it was awkward. But I did win. I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, I was like, whatever you do, just like at that point, just don't say anything. Wait for them to, like, however long it takes, however awkward, they need to speak first.
Silence is golden. So many people are obsessed with having the last word. I just think, pick your. This is why we're all a bit quiet. It's kind of the equivalent of pick your battles. So, because when Christina's here, we just let her get on with it.
I think the other thing you could do next year, Christina, because obviously you did your strategy day last week and quickly introduced to sort of the team and some of the new members. It might be interesting to sort of just bring some of them on, on a one at a time basis, just to sort of like let people know who else works here. Not that I don't like the faces that are at the moment, but just to meet some of the other guys in your team as well.
I hear Jamie Lee is really up for it.
Yes. Jamie Lee's the really, really quiet one. It's like she would say even less than Mark, I think. But I think they're all quite up for it. I think so. Ellie, if you're still in there in the chat, Kim as well. I think they're both up for coming on. I think Kim was like, not sure you'd want me to do that. I might say the wrong thing. I was like, really? You have been watching these, haven't you? All I do is say the wrong thing. But I think, there you go. Ellie said she's definitely up for it. And Dean as well will bring on. He came on once before. It didn't quite go to plan. But to be fair, I didn't prep him well enough, and it was all a bit last minute. So that was, we tease him a lot for that one, but really it's my fault. But,
he's just not very good with tabs.
He's not good with tabs.
Which browser is it in?
Oh man, I was It's one of those things. Ellie's actually at home. I did think we could send her the link and just bring her on now, but she probably would freak out at me if I did that. But Ellie's working. Everyone's working from home. It's just me in the office at the minute, so no video bombs. But I mean, it's just been. I say, if I think about everything we've done this year, it's 12 months ago when I was looking at everything we'd done, we'd produced loads of new things. The print shop had started. We'd got our first online course out there. There was loads of new stuff that we'd done. Obviously, live lunch was a new thing that we'd started. So this year I'm looking at things and going, it's not really anything new that we've done, I don't think, but there's a lot of stuff we've maintained. But I mean, what do you guys think? Amanda, you're a bit more distanced from us this year than you were last year.
Well, and I think there's this whole must be doing something new, but we introduced, because so much new stuff last year, and it was the first year, obviously, we all had to change how we were approaching things. So there's nothing wrong with having a year of growth and consolidation. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you've done, so your podcast is over a year old, is it now?
Yeah, that was a year last August.
Yeah, so 18 months. So it's toddling now, your podcast.
Do you know, I set up the Facebook page about a month ago, but literally last night I was sat there creating a load of posts and invited a load of people last night. That's the first kind of push on that Facebook page, so ready for the new year to do that. But it is. It's all of a sudden it's toddling, and I've made a little bit of money from it, a little bit of advertising money. Not a lot, but a little bit, which is kind of nice for a little hobby project.
I mean, I'm loath to mention the award as well, given.
Sorry, what was that?
I'm loath to mention the award again.
There's an award.
Two.
Well,
I'm surprised they're not positioned behind you today.
They're up with my Buddha.
Are they?
Yeah. The office is really messy because my desk is like a DPD centre at the minute. But you can't really see. You can't see. On top of that cupboard, there's a black box. So just to the left of it, that little thing you can't see is a like a Thai Buddha. So it's not like the fat belly Buddha. It's a Buddha that's linked with my heritage, if you like, and some incense sticks and my 2 awards. Because I'm getting really boring now, but in Cambodian culture, there's lots of times of the year where you would have this almost like little shrine, and you would put things around like beer and fruit, and expensive foods around it. It's like an offering to your ancestors. So you're continuing to look after them and they continue to look after you. So it's like a full circle thing. So yeah, that's where I've put my awards.
Yeah. Yeah.
You went a bit woo again, Christina. You've gone woo again.
It keeps happening. Do you know this? Like the awards thing is so weird, though. It's really weird. I might have to just accept. It was 2 awards, Charles. And do you know what? I've had Meridian Business Support are a lovely client of ours, and they've sent me a nice bottle of champagne to celebrate. So congratulations! How nice is that?
And that's another new thing from. Sorry, I cut over you there, Christine. But it's hard to tell sometimes when you're on Zoom. But that's another new thing I think for this year. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing some growth and consolidation. So you've had what 3, 4, 5 new starters this year, and some amazing new clients as well. Some who we were kind of targeting and in a kind of would love to work with you type way, and some that have just found their way to us. So. And, you know, we've done some really cool stuff with them as well. So, yeah, there's been some really good projects going on.
Yeah, I mean, you and Mark, like some of the stuff you two have been working on has been really, you know, like as marketers, you always want to be innovative and every business wants to be innovative. Have I said that right? I always panic about saying that word wrong. But yeah, Mark, some of the stuff you've done has been, I mean, there's a reason that your hair is the way that it is, but you know, I think you've had some quite stressful projects this year, but I mean the output of them has just been amazing.
Yeah, no, we've had some nice jobs, definitely. Decided to, you know, various sort of online stuff, some quite nice brochures and things, getting back to the normal sort of side of design. So yeah, no, it's been good in that respect, definitely.
You're downplaying it, Mark. I've had some good brochures, yeah,
you know.
I'm talking about innovative, and you talk about brochures. I'm like, that didn't work, did it?
It's all about the content.
I think you've downplayed it quite a bit, to be honest, because obviously you said like the new services and all that, but there has actually been quite a bit go on in the past year, like bringing on the new clients. I mean, I remember when I first came back in, when I came into the office. And you had your board, and then it's constantly seeing that board change, and it's not just like a handful of clients. You are getting loads of really nice clients coming in, and then seeing how everyone's adapting to it, and then obviously going from the smaller office to the bigger office, and everyone adapting to that change and taking it really good. So I think you have downplayed it a bit.
What do you reckon, Jane?
Well, I know I agree with Charles. Actually, there's been quite a lot of changes, really. I mean, yes, okay, to it externally, maybe doesn't look like there've been a lot of changes, but we've been doing so many internal changes that obviously ultimately leads to a better service for our clients. But they don't see all of that. But yeah, I mean, like Sue said, we've moved offices, we've had more people, we've had lots of training, we've had to go online, we've had to come offline again, then we've had to go back online again. And, you know, all of that, it's all big stuff that we've all had to adapt to and cope with.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think we've done a lot.
And I think there's going to be, I don't know what the next few days, few weeks are going to bring, but I think there's that adaptability, that flexibility. I think that's something we all, like everyone in all businesses is going to have to keep hold of, that it's got to be a core function within the business, a core way of operating. I mean, Paul, you've kind of, like with your networking events, trying to create a sort of almost like a hybrid model, people going face to face, people staying online. Have you seen a shift in terms of, like, have people wanted to go face to face or not really?
No, it's been quite frustrating, really, because obviously, you know, when this all began, as sort of Jane touched on, you know, I had to quickly move the business to virtual, so a massive learning curve on Zoom, and then cascade train the other leaders of the groups. That was quite a stressful period when we did that, and then we gradually started to introduce the face-to-face ones, and it seems like the networking world's in limbo a little bit, so people are pretty much zoomed out, you know, because you know, this type of platform is pretty flat and lackluster but functional. But it seems that people are still a bit reluctant to come out as well. So, it's a very strange situation. So, yeah, that's something that I need to be conscious of. And so I did as you know, Christine, I did a little powwow with some of my members just to really get them involved. So a little bit like your strategy day, I just did it with my customers effectively, which is quite a scary thing to do because you're opening up your business for criticism. Because I basically sort of gave them free rein to say what they liked, what they didn't like, what recommendations they could make. So it's sometimes quite hard to hear when someone's critiquing your business. But what these I think it's eight people in the end, or 7 people, what they came up with was I wouldn't have come up with myself. And to get it from the horse's mouth, as it were, now gives me a little bit more of an insight as to what type of things I can do or should look at to make things more engaging. Maybe looking at new platforms. You guys know I did that sort of BuzzCom showcase earlier in the year, which is on an entirely different platform, which is a little bit more engaging than just the flat screens that most people are used to. I mean, ultimately in the virtual world, you're going to be on a screen. You can't get away from that. But you're not going to keep clicking into places or clicking into tables or clicking away. Yeah, this was quite an interesting platform where you could wander around it. And just sort of bump into people like you would in a normal sort of exhibition scenario. So yes, I've got some great ideas that, really I don't think I'm going to be implementing any till sort of like the springtime. It feels like that's probably the time when people will start emerging a little bit more. Hopefully, whatever variant we're in then is a little bit more under control and more people are, feeling safer to come out. So yes, it's just adapting as we go forward. And I think that's one thing that small businesses are good at, because they haven't had any choice, is to adapt. And they're pretty resilient, I think, most small businesses. And, I've quite admired what certain people have done, to evolve their business in really, really challenging times.
Charles, we were talking earlier about some of the, so your business is very much event driven. And obviously you've got some events between Christmas and New Year, and you're just sort of waiting at the minute to find out what's going to happen there, if they're going ahead or not, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
As a small business, you fit in with what Paul's just said, but obviously some of the people you're dealing with, they're not small businesses. So how are you finding because you at the minute you've sort of got one foot in both camps, really?
Yeah, I am a bit in limbo, and it's difficult to deal with, but I'm always like, right, that could happen. What am I going to do if it does happen? And it's trying to stay positive and go into the whole sort of mindset of, right, if it happens, amazing, I can go and do that event, that's already planned out. But if it doesn't happen, how can I utilize that time effectively? Because I am going to be, it's do I stay at home, spend it with my family, or do I utilize it to plan out 2022? Because if we were to do what good old Bojo says we're going to do, then I've got to see what the next month brings for me. So yeah, it is living in limbo, but you got to remain positive and keep going.
Spend time with your family. That would be my vote.
Oh yeah, no, I will. my little one will love it.
Especially if you stay dressed like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, she's actually got a little, is it Lilo and Stitch? She's got one of them. Yep. So she'll be in it and just hey.
Cute.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chris, so I think you muted for a second there. I was going to sort of come to you and sort of say, if you'd got any thoughts on this as well.
I did mute because I just sneezed, which I'm just hoping is just the dust in the office, because we might have the cleaner around for a while. Yeah, I think, as people said, the next 2 weeks, I think it's really going to be focused around friends and family. Obviously, for you, Christina, it will be a massive surprise if Kevin's remembered it's Christmas Day. Literally the day after tomorrow. So good luck with that. We're all rooting for you.
So Bella's on it. She's on the case. It's all good.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah. But still, you never know. He might surprise you one day. But no, this is the whole thing for all of us. It's really waiting to see what Bojo does, because it will dictate. My diary for January is starting to fill up, but if he suddenly said we're back into lockdown or regional restrictions, or however he plays it, which I think is what's coming mid-Jan, it's going to really impact my business, because suddenly we've got to start moving companies from being in the office to remote working again, or hybrid working. They want to start reducing numbers in the office. So I think the next, certainly for me, once I finish tomorrow, it's really 10 days of friends and family answering emergency emails and calls if they do come in, and just focusing on some quiet time, ready for the shitstorm, to be quite frank, that's going to come up here. So I'm going to drop the swear word.
Sorry, Christina. Sorry to jump in on your show, Christina, but do you feel like as business owners that you can handle it better because you've already been through it? Yeah, and you sort of know what to expect.
Sorry, Chris, go on.
So people do know what to expect because we've been doing this in and out game of hokey cokey with the offices for the last 2 years. But it's not the unknown of not having the right plan in action. It's what plan do you put in place? Because the plan you've got for more hybrid working against full lockdown and everyone's got to work from home are going to be two very different things. You know, if you're looking at hybrid, then you start thinking about, do we need PPE in the office? Do I know a government minister so I can get that contract to get that PPE and so on? Whereas if you're all going, everyone's work from home, it's an easier plan. You send everyone home, but still you've got the infrastructure that needs to be in place to service that. So it's easy. Yes, you've got ideas, but until there's an announcement, you don't know which of the ideas to pick out and go and run with.
Yeah.
I think another benefit of what we've been through the last 21 months is my experience, certainly in a networking context, is I think businesses are a lot more real about how things have been for them over this time, and I think it's brought businesses close together, and they're more supportive now of each other than maybe they were before. Networking can be a little bit bullshitty in terms of people putting a brave face on it and making out everything's rosy, whereas the reality is it's not rosy for certain businesses at certain times. Whereas, because everybody's been in this situation and realizes that, it is difficult for some more than others. I think, people have felt comfortable to say, I am having a shitty time at the moment. It's not going well for me. Charles is a great example of that. Some of his competitors disappeared off the radar as soon as we went into lockdown, whereas Charles stuck out the networking. Even though he's got no business opportunities for him, he just kept his face in the game. And I think, that was important. Certain people, God knows where they are now, because they've just sort of totally gone away. And I think that's a mistake. You still need to be visible, and you still need to put yourself out there, and you still need to be, to an extent, vulnerable, and adapt accordingly. And I think people will support you the best they can, which hopefully that's how Charles felt in what was a difficult time, I know, for him.
I think that's always been true of networking anyway. You've always got to keep your face out there. I've been networking now for the best part of 17 years religiously. I've missed very few events unless I've had to. And I network more when I am busy so that those quiet periods don't come. I guess for certain people, the last 21 months have been hell. And it's great that Charles has stuck out the networking, because you're right, so many people who were in that industry have just disappeared.
Oh, yeah.
It's really shown who's got the stamina to stick at it and who hasn't.
But it's not just your networking, it's everything. Like, you can't just go quiet, you just change your message.
No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's always been it. You change your approach to things. You can either wallow in it, or you can just get on and effing do it. I wasn't
Beep.
I'm sure it won't be the first time it's been used. The thing is, it's like, and again, it's in that ability to kind of go, right, I decided this was the direction I was going in, but actually the environment, the situations mean that I've got to change course now. I've got to go this way instead. And I think it's like a lot of people right now, they've either done it already, they're planning to do it between Christmas and New Year, or they're going to do it, on the 1st of January. And they set a load of goals for the year. This is everything I'm going to do. And they're thinking about it as 365 days. And actually, it's like, yes, you need to have those sort of overarching, this is where I'm heading. But actually, if you just focus on what am I going to do in the next 30 days, the next 90 days, because anything can happen. when I look at the goals that I set for the business for 2021, we've done about half of them. I intended to grow the team by one, and that would be one person to work with Mark. Well, in June there were 3 of us at head office. There's now 8 of us here, and Mark's still on his own. But it's I thought the print and design stuff would come back. I thought we'd continue to see this trend in terms of websites, which we have done, but not to the extent I expected. Some of the web projects Mark's been involved in, like I never even knew would have existed 12 months ago. Like I said, like some of the stuff he's been doing is really, really cool, and it's not even not ideas that I've come up with. And so like you can't plan for that stuff. You've got to be able to have that flexibility even in the goals that you set. If you know what the overall, like this is where I'm heading, then that's great. But I think people need to sort of think under shorter timescales and then not kick themselves if in 12 months' time you're going, oh, well, I didn't do this. No, like I said, I'm looking at this list of stuff we were going to do. Half of it hasn't happened, or we've started and not finished. And when I first looked at it, I was kind of like, oh, bugger, I said I was going to do this, I said I was going to do that, and I haven't, not even looked at it. But then there's all this other stuff that has happened and that we have done. So it's if we're too restricted to one view and we don't move away from that, then I think that's when we all start to struggle. Whatever Bojo says.
Well, I've interrupted our planning session today to be here, because myself and Gail, and we've had a guy in Greg to facilitate it, have just spent all morning starting to plan, look at the next 12 months. And if I look back where I was this time last year to now, I've had a massive change, which again was all part of the plan. But yeah, has changed massively.
Cool. So Mark, Jane, Amanda, you're very quiet today. So let's come to you. So Jane, I'll come to you first. Like, what's been your most memorable sort of moment from this year, whether it's live lunch or just in the office in general? Like, what's the thing you'll never forget
that you can share?
Yeah. I was more thinking, I don't think live lunch is up there with my best moments. I think just growing the team, to be honest, that all of a sudden I was sort of doing my job on my own, and now I'm not doing my job on my own, and I've suddenly got to think about somebody else and what they need to do. And so I think that's been sort of my biggest change, and the sort of challenges and the nice bits that have come with that, really. And then obviously we've grown again a bit, and I'm less involved with the other people, but they're still in the office. There's still people that we all have to work together and learn about each other in a way to make a really good team. So yeah, that's been sort of my highlight, really.
I was going to say your voice is making it sound like it's a highlight, but like is it definitely a highlight? But I'll take that. Oh, look what Ellie's. Oh, there you go. Oh. Everyone's got their butterfly wings. That's really nice. Like that. Mark, what about you? Like, I know for you, like the more we've grown, the more you've like the quieter you've got, the more kind of like you're like, just everyone leave me alone.
You can't get a word in.
But
sit in the corner and rock.
Yeah, there's just more people to witness it now.
Yeah.
So what's been the highlight for you?
Probably getting back to a bit of normality for a while, as in getting back to the office and actually being with people. I think that was obviously a big change after a year, plus out. And then literally I'd come back, I'd have a couple of days off and there'd be someone else new, and then there'd be someone else new. Like, where'd they come from? Who's that sitting next to me?
And your name is?
Yeah. Who are you? So that was a plus point and an adjusting point as well. Awesome. And anyway, Ellie, you can go away and go and have a nice walk.
I like how you stopped yourself there, Mark. Okay.
Yeah. So remembered we're not actually in the office.
Go on, Amanda. What about you?
Well, if you're all growing your butterfly wings, I kind of feel like I'm constantly a very hungry caterpillar at the moment, eating my way through December. But highlight of this year, I think it's probably we've had some really interesting and lovely new clients come on board. So some different ones for me, so lovely company, recruitment company we're working with who are based in Luxembourg. So I feel like I've kind of broadened my horizons a little bit in terms of, because they're quite niche and obviously geographically they're different. So I've really enjoyed that. And some of the projects that we've worked on, as you said there, with Mark, a kind of proper joined up marketing strategy where we've got landing pages, blogs, email marketing that goes with it. So yeah, that's been really good to work on that.
Awesome. I honestly thought you'd all tell like funny stories.
Well, I was going to say, obviously, one highlight would be actually having another bloke in the office.
Yeah.
And actually, Charles as well, obviously.
Oh, you're
I was thinking of Dean. I was in part of the team as such. But obviously, the fact that he actually cops more flack than me or anyone else in the office. So, in that respect, it does allow me to just sit there while they abuse him.
Sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
okay.
That was brilliant.
we have a board in the office that's dedicated to funny things that are said. Okay, and so obviously this is Ellie's highlight, and it's Mark saying like his rules for life are don't have kids and don't get involved with tea runs.
Both will just cause you hassle, and the tea run will be the worst of them all.
We went out for dinner the other night, and I'm sure that's when you said it, Charles, about me lying on the floor.
Yeah, going for I was randomly working, and then all of a sudden I could hear you, but I couldn't see you, and I stand up, and you're just literally lying on the floor, phone on your ear, just working on your whiteboard as you do.
I love my whiteboards.
That was probably like this time last year.
Yeah, I just needed a little rest.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on. But yeah, there's some we've had some really entertaining moments in the office. When Chris came to do my voice is going now. When Chris came to do the cyber training and Gail, of course, as well. We won't talk about some of the conversations that went on that day, but I went from like there was one moment I was just mortified. I was like, oh my goodness. Like Chris knows me really, really well, Gail not so much. And I was just like, oh my goodness. And especially given that they're clients as well. That was awkward. but we had so much fun that day. We really, really did. So yeah, it's just been like the weirdest year in terms of, like I said, we've just had so much fun. So many sort of realizations of the stuff that we do as well. And it's, yeah, what's Nick said. It's right. So Nick is sort of like a executive assistant. She looks after my diary and random things. I just voice note her. I do love a voice note, and I do try and be entertaining when I'm asking for things and forgetting to say please and thank you. So yeah, Amanda, you've had some of my voice notes as well, haven't you?
Yeah, not for a while though. Not for a while.
It's because Nick's getting them all.
I wouldn't say I've missed them, but
I just get distracted.
Maybe Nicola can forward some of hers, Amanda, just so you don't feel too left out.
Yeah. Chris has just said, he's just put in the chat, most of my comments aren't suitable for broadcast, and it hasn't stopped me. Yeah, it really hasn't. I was on a live stream with one of the recruitment bodies, and I basically called everyone an idiot on that. That probably didn't do us. I mean, we did still win business from it, but probably didn't do me a lot of favours. Rec Expo, the first face-to-face recruitment event that happened, and I think I expected it to be a bit like, not a fantastic experience. People wouldn't show up and stuff like that, and yet it ended up being the biggest audience that I've spoken to date, and like just people were coming to us. Just it was like they were literally excited to see us. Like
You were in your element there, weren't you?
Oh, I mean, like that. It was just. Do you know what the great thing was? This is 9 out of 10 times. This is a bit of nonsense. It's a bit of entertainment. It's more for us than it is the audience. But I think the best thing about it was that people were coming over to the stand to talk to Mark, and they were asking where Jane was. That was the big thing, and not current clients, just people that we're connected to.
I think
so they're coming over to talk to Mark, but they were more interested in where Jane was.
Yeah. I'll talk to Mark if Jane's not here.
They
come over to talk to me, and then the first thing say, "Where's Jane?" No, I was going to say that it was good because obviously I think we've probably said it before, but there were clients that we'd been working for a year, maybe longer, that you felt you knew, sort of really well, and then you realise you'd never actually met them, and then they come up, you're right, and they go, "Oh, it's so good to meet you." What? We must have met? No. It's like, so yeah, it was good from that respect, definitely.
That'd be a highlight for me. Is obviously going back to events, but then I think me and Amanda, because I obviously I videoed you at Rec Expo, but me and Amanda stood at the back going, "Yeah, she's definitely in her element here," because you would just like smile ear to ear.
Oh, I loved it.
But like everyone was coming over to you and saying how they pretty much knew you because they've been watching Live Lunch.
Yeah.
So that would be a highlight.
Yeah, no, definitely. My most mortifying moment was dropping that award. I was at a recruitment event, and I was announcing an award, like giving an award. What is the word for it? Presenting an award. Yeah. And I was like, they're ready, and I'd been given my envelope ready to open with the award winner in, and then it was my turn to go up on stage. So as you go up on stage, they give you the microphone. So I've got microphone and I've got envelope, and then they give me an award, and I'm like, I've only got 2 hands, and I need to open this envelope in a minute, and so there was a lectern there. It's only had a little bit of an angle on it, but I thought, well, that'll be fine. It'll stand up, and I put it on very carefully. It'll stand there. Waited a second. Yep, that's safe. Went to start, and the thing just on the floor. I was like, oh no.
Whenever, mate.
Luckily, it didn't break or get chipped or anything like that. It was the first time I've been asked to present an award, and I bloody drop it.
And probably the last time, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Stephen O'Donnell, if you're watching this, I'm very, very sorry. It was his award event. And, yeah, hopefully you'll have me back. Hopefully. Cool. Okie dokie. Right, has anyone else got anything to add? Any stories to tell? Anything like that?
All good.
All good.
Not that are appropriate for live broadcast.
No.
I'll tell you back my comment about Christina then.
Awesome. In that case, thank you, Charles, Paul, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us today. Absolute pleasure to have you. We will wrap it up there. This is the last live lunch. We haven't talked about when we're going to do the next one. I guess it'll be the first Thursday in January at 12 noon. And we'll just pick up from there. And
Ellie's up for that one. She's already said in the comments.
Yeah, Ellie's up for it.
That's it. I've also had an idea for a little segment for her as well. So
Ellie's one now.
That's it. Ellie's like queen of random facts.
Really random facts.
Yeah, but when you say random, they are random.
So we'll bring her on for that. It'll be a bit of fun. Awesome. Again, thank you so much for joining as guests. Thank you for supporting us this year. And yeah, thanks to everyone that's tuned in and watched this and watched other episodes. Whether you can hear me thanking you or not, I'm still grateful. And thank you to Mark, Jane and Amanda for constantly turning up, even when I'm not here, keeping me in line 90% of the time. 80, all right. I hope everyone has an awesome Christmas, whether you choose to spend it with family, friends, work through it, whatever you want to do. Just make it yours. Have an awesome time, and we will see you in the new year. Bye for now.
Keep up the good work, guys. Stalker on the other side.